Okie dokie, we're back on the Evinrude. Finally got me a power pack ordered and got it in. So we're going to hope this cheap Chinese one works as well as the ever so slightly more expensive CDI one. And yeah, we're just going to come on in here, pull this bad boy out, slap her in, put the spark tester on her, and see if we now got spark. So I'm going to get to that. Just like that, new power pack is in. Had a little bit of a design issue with this Chinese one. As you can see on the OEM, all the wires stick out of the right side, and on the OEM they stick out of the left side. So they're kind of bent at a 90-degree angle and flat to the block, but luckily there's just enough room that they still fit. So we got it all back together, and hopefully that was indeed the issue, and it was not some bad wire somewhere in there. So I'm hooked the spark tester back up, and we're gonna see if we get some flashing. All right, time to make this Beyblade rip. Did it spark? I don't know, because I can't see. So I'm gonna go review the footage, and then I'll come back and fake a reaction. Oh, look at that, we have spark, woo! So yeah, great, fantastic. That was indeed the issue. So I guess I need to figure out what's going on with this stop switch so that I can stop this thing. And then I'm going to go find a bucket that I can stick this propeller down in. And I guess we'll rip on it a couple more times just to confirm that the water pump is moving some water. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it fast enough to be able to suck anything up into the system. So probably just going to not do that. Probably just going to hook some gas up to it and see if the fuel pump works. Or just to be safe, we're going to do the bottom spark plug too, just because I don't want to have to do this again. Well, the momentum is dead. Went through all the effort, built this fancy test gas tank, and just in case you're ever wondering, the bottom of the label lip on a Diet Coke bottle is exactly 8 ounces, and right there in the middle of the hourglass, that's 4 ounces, and the top of the date stamp is 16.9, and the bottom of the date stamp is 16 ounces. It's approximately 3/8 of an inch from the top of that lip down in there in the mold is 1 ounce. So anyway, that's cool. But yeah, I've got that hooked up with this gross, nasty, dirty gas filter that's full of rust and varnish and other stuff to a primer, and I was getting ready, pulling this fitting off of the Honda gas tank because I don't want to get two-stroke oil in the Honda tank, so I was just going to pull this fitting off of the end, and Johnson has fucked me. They've got this little nub, and this is cast metal here, and what it does is it prevents you from putting this Honda fitting on there. You know, that barb is correct, that fitting is correct as far as I know, but this guy prevents it from going on. So I'm going to have to go find a compatible fitting for that, which is not going to happen today. So this probably won't get work done for another 2 weeks. Also, I did not get my motor muffs yesterday, so it's probably a good thing because I don't have any way to run this wet. I did have a bucket that I was using on the Honda, that one that you saw, and I shoved it on there and it fit, and then I pulled it off and the propeller went right through the side, so I don't have a bucket either. So yeah, that's as far as I'm getting today. We finally got a gas fitting, got some mixed gas made up, and went and dug out my motor muffs. So we're just going to give her some old canned consent and see if she touches off, and if she does, I'll prime the whole system and we'll see if we can get this thing to idle. I don't know if I'm going to hook the hose up for this just yet. I just want to see if it'll fire. So we're just going to give her a little, that should be good, and see what the hell happens. There goes nothing. system, see if that makes a difference. No. Alright, mystery solved. She wants choke, so she needs to be rich. Will not idle without choke. Is not cooling. Needs full throttle. Not certain if it's firing on both cylinders or not. Probably just needs a carb rebuild. Water pump is not pumping. I wonder why. Probably because it's held together with the wrong bolts. Runs though. Progress. Alright, so I ripped on her a couple more times and I eventually got her to the point where she would mostly idle with the choke off. She wouldn't quite idle. Idle speed's probably not adjusted, but she would sit there at about half throttle with the choke all the way in. And she was running pretty good, but the cooling system was not working. I never got even a squirt out of the pee hole. So she runs. So we have that. She runs pretty good, but she really likes to warm up. It was really cold this morning. It was like 30 something. So that's probably why I think I hadn't been running 15 years. And, you know, then I tried to start it on a 30 something degree day with old spark plugs and an unprimed fuel system and, you know, no oil on the cylinder walls. So eventually what I had to do to get the thing to start was I just pulled one of the spark plugs out, sniffed it, no gas. So got starter fluid, just sprayed it, just pss, pss, little tiny spray right into the right through the spark plug hole into the combustion chamber, put the spark plug back in, pulled it, got her to cough a couple times. That was enough vacuum to get the fuel pump running and prime the system. And then after that, I was able to pull it a bunch of times, get some starter fluid, spray it straight into the intake. Got her to run off of starter fluid for a second, and then after that, she had fully primed, and then she would run. You know, she was warmed up, was able to make better compression. And that was after you saw me having it run. And then after that, I was able to start it, try and get it to idle, kill it. Did that probably a half dozen times. Then I was able to get it to run pretty good, but couldn't get anything out of the cooling system. So we're gonna have to pull the thermostat cover, because I'm sure it's a stuck thermostat or something like that, or a bunch of crap in the lines, and I'm not looking forward to that, because the thermostat is right there. That's the thermostat. So to get the thermostat out, you have to take this handle out at the very least, get that whole mechanism out. You got to take all of these bolts off. Then you have to pull this housing out, and then there's the thermostat. And so if I do that, I guarantee you this gasket is going to, destroy itself. And then I'm going to have to try and clean that entire gasket off of both of these surfaces while it's in here and full of dirt and all that. Then buy a gasket. Then see if it is the thermostat. And it may not be a thermostat. The whole system may be plugged, may be full of salt crystals. Who knows? Could be corroded, could have a hole somewhere. It's a can of worms I don't really want to get into, but we're going to have to. So, back to the old wait for parts game. One other thing that may work, this is something that worked with the Honda, is I could not get the thing to run anything through the cooling system until I just absolutely submersed the lower unit, like all the way up past here. So we'll try that next. I broke my bucket, so I'm gonna have to find another bucket. Might take one of these flower pots over here and put a trash bag in it, see if I can get that to work. But that's the next step, is to really submerge it and see if I can get the cooling system to work. And if not, pull that cover, which I don't want to do. Whew. Does not like to idle.
There's stuff come out of those exhaust holes up there too.
Water is coming through, but it's obvious that the water pump is not working at full capacity, which would make sense considering how shitty it is. Guess I gotta get an impeller. Alright, well, we at least have our next steps in getting this thing to run reliably. It obviously has a cooling system issue, specifically water pressure, which means that the water pump is not moving as much water as it's supposed to, because that pee hole should be pissing like a fire hose, and it's dribbling. So we got to rectify that. I did check the stop switch. The stop switch works, so that's good to see. It also has an air fuel issue. I've got this carburetor turned a whole bunch rich, and she will not idle down. I don't know if I've got this too far out, possibly, and I'm just, turning it in, but I can't get it to idle down any further. So the air fuel mixture is not quite right, and I'm not sure how to adjust that. Should be up to temp. I have not let the block get terribly hot. I can still put my hand, right here. It's warm. It's like hot coffee warm, but it's not boiling. It's not above operating temperature yet. So yeah, she is running. She's running better, but gotta figure out that carb adjustment, and we're gonna have to replace the water pump. At the very least, we need to replace the impeller. Could just be that the seals are not quite right, so it doesn't have the force, because if there's an obstruction in here that should still be coming out at a high pressure, the telltale should be pissing hard all the time. If there's less pressure, that just means it's going to piss even harder. Might spit, but that's just dribbling, which to me is saying that there is not enough water getting to that telltale. So yeah, I guess I'm going to have to order me a water pump and wait on that. I guess in the interim, I'll probably pull the lower unit back off and test that in a bucket like this. Just hook a drill up to the drive shaft and spin it, and see how much water that moves. Because I know there's no obstructions up in here, which should just mean it's a water delivery issue. Alright, so we got the lower unit back off, and I think I found the problem. You can't really see it now, but that copper pipe right there was just sort of bent like that, and like deformed into an oval. And I've taken a pair of needle nose pliers and sort of bent it back. I think you can see the dent there in the side, and just pushed it so that it was now straight, and then jammed it in there and spun it around just to make it circular again. And you can tell that it was not sealing because of how there's just a dent in the top of this sealing surface right here. So that's why it wasn't really making much water pressure, is because because it wasn't actually inside of there. So I don't really know how I'm gonna fix that. I think I'll pop that out of there and I don't know, massage it a bit, jam it up on here, and see if we can get that to install better. And I'm going to take this, hook the electric drill up to that, fill that bucket back up, plop her down in there and spin it, and just see if it shoots out. It should be coming out like at about that speed. You know, it shouldn't be shooting up like there, but it should be coming out, you know, maybe 3-4 inches above the water pump. And if it's doing that, then we know the water pump's making enough pressure. Because that water pump, as I said, looked really good. You know, it's a little old, but it was not deteriorated at all. So I'm hoping that was just the problem. And I was kind of hoping it was this. Because that's the issue I had with the Honda. Is the Honda had brand new water pump in it, and it just for whatever reason was not pushing water past the telltale. And the reason was because I didn't have the water tube in the water pump. I had the water tube in the water pump, but the water tube was not connected, because in the Honda it's just sort of free floating, and it had fallen out of its hole, and I had it jammed in the exhaust port, so it was basically forcing water up the exhaust, and anything that came out of the telltale was just water pressure pushing past the exhaust and getting up into the telltale. So, and then, you know, exhaust going into the case and then pushing back out the telltale. So I'm gonna test that, and then we're gonna try and reinstall this correctly, and then we'll test on it again at a later date and make sure the water pump is functioning. Well, got her down here in the bucket, and she's filled up all the way past all the holes. Let's see what it does. As you can see, the water pump has also given up the ghost, so I guess it had just enough life to trick me into thinking it was good, and then it immediately fell apart. Because we've got nothing. And I probably killed it running it dry, trying to get the thing started, which is a dumb move on my part, but if it was going to burn up that quickly, it wasn't going to pump water. You know, I was kind of afraid I was going to have to buy a new water pump, but looks like I'm going to have to. So yeah, it's gone. Let's try it in reverse just to be silly. So yeah, if it wasn't burn up, it's burn up now. Alright, I guess let's pull this apart and inspect the damage. Alright, well I have the water pump apart, and you can see how it failed now. It's not that the impeller came apart, it's that this hexagonal piece that is supposed to lock the impeller to the drive shaft via the key has basically wallowed out the inside of the impeller. So the drive shaft is spinning, and this metal piece inside of the impeller is spinning, but the impeller itself is not spinning, which is kind of odd. I guess the impeller is just so old that it's worn out, but the vanes actually still look fine. I mean, they're a little worn out, but that's just weird. Huh. So yeah, anyway, that is it. It is the impeller. The impeller is not spinning, but it is not the impeller itself that is the problem. Actually, yeah, it is. But the vanes are still there. So that's a weird one. Wasn't expecting that. But that is indeed our issue, is it's simple water pump problems. So buy new parts, put it back together, and it should fix it. Alright, so we got us a shiny new water pump. And there it all is. There's some assembly required. I also have a seal for the motor shaft. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take that out though, because I think that requires a slide hammer and screwing stuff into it. And I think there's 2 seals and I only have 1. And I'm just going to let it ride for the minute, because currently there's no water getting into the gear oil. And speaking of gear oil, we're going to swap on that real quick before I take this lower unit off. And there's a fella out there who has a whole website dedicated, well, I don't think it's an entire website, but a big chunk of a website dedicated to working on these old Evinrudes, and it's a fantastic resource. I think it's Leroy's Ramblings, so go check him out. Don't take my word for it. He's got all the info out there. But anyway, the way you swap this out is you take out the top bolt to allow air in, then you take out the bottom bolt right there. The flathead's not the Phillips head. That is holding in part of the gear case down there, so don't take that out. and just let it drain out. And then you have to refill it from the bottom up, because if you refill it from the top, it'll lock in air bubbles, and you won't be able to fill it all the way, and you'll have to let it stop and let it recollect and move the gears around a little bit and keep doing that, and it'll just be a pain in the ass. So if you have a pump bottle, that works a lot better. I've just got one of these El Cheapo $4 things of Walmart gear oil. So I'm just going to cut the tip of it off and jam it in there, hold it real tight, squeeze it, and hope for the best. Takes 9 ounces. Here we go. Alright, top bolt's out. Here goes nothing. See if I can do this one-handed and not get covered in gear oil. So I hate the smell of gear oil. Ooh, that's kind of tight. There's also a nylon washer in here, which looks to be stuck on this one. And one should replace those every time they do this, but I'm lazy and I'm not going to do that. Ooh yeah, she's old. She needs to be replaced. So good thing I'm doing that. We're going to let this drain for another 30 minutes or however long it takes, and then we'll top her back off. Well, she's about as thoroughly drained as she can possibly get, and old oil doesn't look bad, it's just old and black. So, that's a good sign. It means all my seals are still good, so I don't really need to worry about them too much. Did get that nylon washer out of there though, and it looks a bit funky, but we're going to ignore it. So, I'm just going to pump new gear oil in, and hope for the best. We're shooting for the, where it at? 700 milliliter mark, slightly below it, because that'll be 23 ounces left, which means we've put in 9. So yeah, it takes 3 hands to do this. So oh god damn it, son of a bitch, it's leaking again. But anyway, I'm gonna get to that after I clean that last little drip out of there. You fellas know how it always is. You think you've squeezed every last little bit of fluid out, and then you get one last little bit of drip. Ruins everything. Stand by. Alright, well, I botched the fuck out of that. I was doing it all nice like, had that out, very slowly filling it, got it just to where it was coming out, put that bolt in, and then I tried to do a quick swap, yank that out and jam the new bolt in, and I did that and dropped the new bolt right in the old oil, and probably about a ½ ounce drained out. I had to cram the thing in there and fit it all up in there, and a big ass air bubble went in. And then I checked the thing and I only had 8 ounces in it. So I need to get another ounce in there. So I tried filling from the top and that didn't work. So I eventually just got pissed, took top bolt out, or took the bottom bolt out, quickly jammed that in there, and you can screw this into those threads if you push hard enough. And then I just blasted a fuck ton of oil through there until all the air bubbles stopped, and then quickly jammed that in there, slightly overfilled. And I have no idea how much is actually in there, but it's at least 8 ounces, and we're just gonna goddamn run with it. Because I don't care anymore at this point. Every time I use gear oil, I end up covered in this shit. My hands are all slimy and I smell like a dead animal. So anyway, let's get on to that water pump. Here we go. Alright, so lower unit's back in the vise, and here's the old pump, here's the new pump. As you can see, there are some significant differences, like everything not being absolutely destroyed. So let me just point out all the things that are wrong. This O-ring is in fact supposed to sit in that groove. So that's really stretched out and chewed the fuck up. This O-ring is stretched out and chewed the fuck up. This water fitting grommet is not so much stretched out, but chewed the fuck up nonetheless. Impeller is borked. As you can see, the nubs are worn off of one side. It's taken a set, and this little metal part in the middle, it's supposed to be stationary, and mine just comes out. So yeah, didn't know about that. That should have been a dead giveaway. Also, the new water pump housing uses brass, whereas the old one uses aluminum, and the new one also doesn't have a broken corner. Another interesting thing is the new one came with new hardware, and it uses 7/16 hex head stainless steel all the way around, whereas on the old one uses 7/16 and 3/8. So that's a marked improvement, in my opinion. Not really sure why there's that difference, but it's there and I like it. Also, the new housing is the same height the whole way around, whereas the old one, it's taller on the back for some reason. So yeah, hopefully this will all work just fine. I am also going to grease that impeller when I put it back in, because I didn't the last time on the Honda, and just everyone says to do it, so I might as well. This kit also came with this seal, which I'm assuming is for the drive shaft, but because mine has this ye olden spring-loaded one, which is in not good condition, but it apparently seals because there's no water in the gear oil, I'm going to leave that because I don't know if this will fit, because the diameter just does not look the same to me, and I really don't want a chance putting this motor out of commission at this latest stage in the game. So we'll hang on to that, and if I'll have to check the oil, I mean I already do anyway because I'm not certain if I have the full amount in there, and if we see any homogenization, then we know it's that guy, and I'll have to give that a whirl. Another thing is you get 2 of these grommets extra in the kit. This is the one that you can see is identical to the one that was in mine. And if you're like me, your gut says, well, hold on now. This thing's a pain in the ass to line up. Why don't I just use this flared one? Well, don't. You'd be wrong, and you might break stuff. Because there are 2 auxiliary water ports down in there on that tube that cool off that part of the housing. Because that is heated by the exhaust, and if you put that on there, these wings will block that off, and then things will get borked. This is for the long shaft models, the ones that have the extra long case on them. And this one is just for, this extra long one is for a later model motor, so just ignore it. So anyway, I'm going to cram all this back in here, and hope that everything fits correctly and works. So wish me luck. Everything looks high quality, so I'm not really worried. Alright, new water pump's in. She's looking snazzy. Let's go throw this bad boy back in the Evinrude and hope I don't pinch this grommet. Alright, throttle on, choke on, gas, primed. Let's give her one more shot. Will my Johnson pee? I'll be just as surprised as you are. Let's give her a whirl, and let's try not to knock all this water on the ground almost immediately. Let's just make sure that thermostat works. Yeah, I think it is. Pretty warm, but it's only like 150. It's not enough to burn me, but it is warm. Yeah, it's warm right there at the thermostat. Let's try that. Yeah, it's like 170, something like that, 180. Nothing crazy. I don't know what this is. I wonder if that's gear oil. Hope not. Yep, she's running much better. Really got to mess with this car. And I'm pretty confident that my idle mixture screw is way too far into the slow setting. So we're just going to crank on this as much as we can, if we can. I feel like she should probably be sitting right about there according to this handle, and it's got like a full 1/4 inch. So I'm going to take her around with this for a little bit and then run her again and see if we can get this thing running a lot better. Stuff I found online says you want to get it to the point, you want it to idle at 850 RPM. Since it's a two-stroke, it's going to sound like 1600. Well, I guess whatever that's supposed to be, 1700. And then you want to tune the carburetor and get it halfway between rich and lean. I can't really get it to lean. Basically, it's a 1/4 turn from when the thing starts blubbering and shuddering, which means you're too rich, and then you want to back it off a 1/4 turn from that. I'd rather it be too rich than too lean, because it's two-stroke. Alright, let's give this another whirl. I'm not really good at tuning stuff by ear. I do have a little digital tachometer, but I'm too lazy to use it. So we're just going to shoot for 1600 RPM by ear, which would be 800 for 4-stroke. This is 2-stroke. Alright, we're not peeing again, so I'm gonna kill this and let it cool down. And she's not overheated yet. I gotta investigate that. And she's not really warm. I can hold my finger to it, so we didn't kill it or anything. I don't know if it's just got low flow or something. I mean, water pump's brand new. The only thing that could be is maybe the grommets messed up, but not really any way for me to check that or to pull the lower unit off again, which I don't want to do. And then just look to see if it's pinched, because I greased that up and I bent the tube and everything, so it should be fine. Plus it's brand new rubber. So I'm going to think it's not that. I'm going to assume there's a blockage somewhere. So I don't even know how I can check that or sort of finagle the bottom. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I don't want to pull the lower unit off. But she seems to be staying cool. There's water coming out of here, and I don't know exactly what that is. It could be the main outflow for the water. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. She's running a lot better. I can't test her in wide open throttle. I forget what RPM she's supposed to be at wide open. I think it's only like 4,000 or something like that. But, you know, if I don't have a bucket, I have this thing, if I can kick the propeller on, it's going to explode this whole bottom. Probably just go tinker around with her a little bit more, just to see if I can make that carburetor do something magical. Wants to be hyper rich. I don't really know what's going on. There might be a plug somewhere. She's still cool, so thermostat must be working. Bit warmer. Ooh, there's a lot of dead ants in here now. I'm gonna clean her out. Let's run this bottle dry. I call that good enough. I think there might just be some crud in there I need to pull out with a hook. She's cool. She's colder than coffee. Shit, she's colder than bathwater. Yeah. The thermostat is working. It is cooling. That's for sure. Alrighty. So she's running well. Almost drained her. Heck. I gotta remember everything I gotta do this. I need to grease this guy right here real quick. Just got some El Cheapo grease. A little bit will help because this is all gummy. I need to probably take that part of the case off just to get some of these roots out of it. Of all things, may want to get another one of those since I know this thing runs pretty damn good. 1978 Evinrude. Finally running after sitting for 15 years. Full of ants, full of dirt, full of mouse shit, full of sticks, full of roots, full of saltwater corrosion, busted case, nasty oil, dead power pack, cracked flywheel because I cracked it, broken recoil starter, bam, back together. I would say for cheap, but I've now spent like $35 on a water pump and $55 on a power pack, $5 on gear oil, and I think that's really it. Which is a lot more than that Honda, but a lot less than I was really expecting. So that's what set me back about $100. So yeah, I guess it's now all just cleanup work after this. Now that I know the motor runs so well. I don't know if you were able to make that out when I was hollering, but no matter what I did to this rich mixture screw, like I was turning the thing and I had like a 1/4 inch gap right here on the back, and it was making absolutely no difference. She was not blubbering. She was getting real finicky about the throttle position, which tells me that she was getting rich, because she wanted all the air. So it was, the idle was moving further and further and further. So she idles at about there at start, or what does that say? Shit? What the fuck? Yeah, shit. Idles at shit, but does not idle all the way down here at slow. And what I was showing you is there's so much slop in this gear system. See, right there is when that is supposed to be at idle, which is here. That's where I set it. And I start turning it, and it goes, and then you let off, and there's just like that much play in the system, which ain't good. So anyway, nothing I can really do about that, but a lot of fine-tuning work to do. Well, here she is, got a little bit of grease in her, and yeah, we're gonna try and prissy her up a little bit, get her all fancy looking, get her ready to go. Oh, look, that Zerk fitting is peeing out grease. I've never seen that before. But anyway, we're gonna get this bad boy gussied up and get her fitted on the John boat and get that Honda fitted on that CMF, and then try and sell that bad boy, use that money to fund my addictions, and get it the hell out of my yard. So stick around if you want to see that ride. Make sure to subscribe, go down, like, comment, tell me what a dumbass I am. If you like this kind of trash, you gotta subscribe or you're not gonna see it. Until next time, I'm out.